Give me 1 minute to get it started. All right. Looks like we're good to go now. I can give the little meeting intro there. It's okay if I start with the meeting intro there?
Yep, go ahead.
The format of this meeting consists of board members, applicants, and city staff attending a live online Zoom meeting and the public viewing the meeting on the city's YouTube channel. For applicants, please only speak when it indicates it's time to do so. In addition, as usual, please, prior to addressing the board, please state your name, address, and affirm that you will tell the truth. Public viewers on YouTube have the ability to type in comments with a Google account. If you enter in a comment on YouTube, please first indicate your name and address. Comments can be entered at any time, but we relay to the board when the chair indicates that it is time to do so during the public hearing. Please also note multiple comments can be entered, but each comment is limited to 200 characters. If you're having difficulties commenting, please email me at adutton, that's ADUTTON, at worcesteroh.com. Finally, please be aware there's an approximate 15-second delay between the Zoom meeting and the live stream on YouTube. That's all I have for now, and I'll turn it over to Stuart to begin the meeting.
Thank you, Andrew. This is the regularly scheduled April meeting of the City of Worcester Board of a volunteer planning and zoning code. My name is Stuart Fitzgibbon, and I am chair of this board. Because these hearings are a matter of legal record, this meeting is recorded. We ask that if and when you hear gives their name, address, and affirmation to tell the truth. The applications to be considered tonight are application BZA 2103, BZA 2105, and BZA 2106. Our first order of business is to call the roll. Ben?
Present.
Ken?
Here.
Doug?
Here.
Mark?
Here.
And Greg?
Here.
And I too am here. All right, our next is on this meeting. Do I have a motion to that effect, or any questions, comments, or corrections?
I'll make a motion to accept the minutes.
Thank you, Greg. Is there a second?
I'll second it.
Thank you, Doug. It's been moved and seconded to approve the minutes of last month's meeting. All in favor signify by saying aye.
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 All opposed say no. All right, the minutes are approved. All right, our first application is BZA 2103. Cynthia Swinehart requesting a use variance from Planning and Zoning Code Section 1129.02D to allow an automotive service station at 630 Palmer Street in an R2 single-family residential zoning district. Is there someone here to speak on behalf of this application? Ms. Swinehart, I believe you're muted.
Yes, I'm sorry. I am here.
There you go. All right. Name, address, and affirmation to tell the truth, please.
My name is Cynthia Swinehart. My address is 4400 Melrose Drive, Lot 281, Worcester. The address that we're looking at is 630 Palmer Street in Worcester. And I do confirm to tell the truth.
Thank you. Please proceed.
We are wanting to open a small automotive business at that location. It would only be open a few hours a day because both of us do work elsewhere. And it's not going to be anything that the EPA will have to be involved in. You know, we're not going to do any painting, anything, no, you know, no tires, no nothing like that. It's just going to be a small automotive engine repair. No body work, no painting, nothing like that.
Any questions from members of the board?
Guess I have a couple of questions. It seems like a good use for the property, but some concerns I would have with it being, you know, adjacent to the neighborhoods there. I've seen other auto repair stores, shops, end up with a lot of vehicles parked in their parking lot, not necessarily being worked on that day, just stored there. And I wouldn't want to see that in that area. And I'm also wondering about, you going to have any lighting there at night that would carry into the neighborhoods?
No, we only look to have maybe 2 to 3 cars at a time, and those would be inside. We don't want it junked up. And like bright lighting and stuff, no, I do not want to disturb the neighbors being residential. And more than likely, we would be done by like 7, 8 o'clock every night if we, you know, were there.
And all the work would
It's
be
not
done inside
something
the
that's-
buildings?
Pardon me?
All the work would be done inside the building?
Yes, sir.
How would cars get inside the building? I don't see a garage door.
In the back,
Back.
Okay.
there is a ramp or a door,
Oh,
and
okay.
they would enter that way. It's
There's
a
a ramp,
garage
okay.
door.
That's what that is.
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. Very good.
Do you plan on changing the building at all?
On the outside, no. We do plan on doing some painting and stuff like that on the inside. And the outside, we're just gonna freshen up a little bit, you know, add flowers. You know, eventually, you know, get a permit and stuff to put up a sign. But it's not gonna be nothing big if we do. Maybe like a little 2x3 or something.
Thank you.
I think they said
Have you already
you're-
leased this facility?
I'm sorry, yes, we will be leasing it. And it will be a 2-year lease to start. And then from there, we'll go as needed. Eventually, if, you know, everything takes off, we would like to purchase it. If that option is available, you know, as we go.
Okay, but you haven't actually signed a lease yet.
We have, but of course, it's in contingent with what you guys approve or not.
Okay.
So I see
Have
here
you
that you're. Okay, I see the initial plan is to
Go ahead,
have,
Mark.
1 to 3 employees. And so that that makes sense that you don't have a few cars there and they could all be stored inside. But I do believe I read somewhere that if, business takes off, you'd be adding more employees. Does that mean at that point, there would be cars that were parked outside on more than a temporary basis?
No. Actually, it's me, my husband, and my son. We would be the ones that would be running the facility. But then after that, if we get bigger, no, we would actually have like a drop yard. to where the vehicles would be stored if needed. Because I don't want it to look junky.
Yeah, I mean, that's kind of, and I can't speak to it exactly, but the purpose of the zoning is so that it doesn't change the characteristics of the neighborhood. And so I think that kind of what we're looking to do is just make sure that, even if there is growth, it doesn't turn into 15 cars out there waiting to be serviced.
Oh, no. No. The most I could see would be maybe 1 to 2. And that would only be, like a short period of time, nothing for like weeks.
Have you had any contact with the neighbors?
No, we have not. I figured, once we get approved and everything, then I would like to go introduce myself, give them my phone number, tell them if they have any problems to please call me. I would like to be, warmed and welcomed.
I believe there's something in our packet from one of the neighbors who had no problem with the business being there.
Correct. I've seen that.
Any further questions from members of the board? All right, hearing none. Andrew, let's go ahead and open it up for a public hearing for members of the public.
Okay, that's opened up on YouTube there. I'd also know how to receive the call earlier today from Bowman Beverage, just general questions about the application. They didn't bring up any concerns. And I believe that would be directly to the south of the site.
You mean the Ice House?
I believe so, yeah. Maybe
Yeah, not, that Bowman Beverage is further up the street.
Anything on YouTube, Andrew?
It doesn't look like I'm getting any comments on YouTube.
All right, we'll wait another few moments and make sure we don't cut it off too soon.
It doesn't look like I'm getting anything.
All right, then we will close the public hearing portion of the meeting. Are there any further questions from members of the board? I'm hearing none. I'll entertain a motion.
I'll make a motion to approve the request.
Okay, thank you, Greg. Is there a second?
I'll second it.
Thank you, Ben. All right, voting in the affirmative on BZA 2103. Greg,
I'm going to vote yes. I think it's an appropriate use for the property. And I'm also relying on the applicant's assurance that there will only be vehicles, there are other employees and customer drop-offs, and there'll be no long-term storage of vehicles on the outside.
I will give it.
Still there?
Okay. Yeah, I think I heard you voted in the affirmative.
Yes.
Okay, thank you, Greg. Okay, Ben?
I will also vote in the affirmative. Just looking at the property and the zoning that it's in, I don't, with point A and E on the application, I think the property falls under that. It doesn't look like a residence. The property doesn't look like it can be used as a residence. So I think it makes sense that this would be approved for those reasons.
Okay, thank you, Ben. Ken?
I'm also voting yes for the same reasons that other people have stated. And also, I do not believe that this use will in any way alter the character of this part of the neighborhood, which already has some commercial uses that are modest in scope. So I think it's an appropriate use of the property.
Thank you, Ken. Doug?
I'm going to vote yes. I feel with what goes on across the street with the trucks and everything else, this is going to be quiet and should be appropriate for that part of the neighborhood.
Okay, thank you, Doug. Mark?
I'm also going to vote yes. I do think that it's not going to change the character of the neighborhood. And as Greg mentioned, I think that, mostly contingent upon the fact that the parking lot's not going to turn into a junkyard.
Okay, thank you, Mark. I too will vote yes for all of the reasons cited by my colleagues on the board. This is a tough location because it's a transition between commercial and residential uses. And I agree with Mark that as long as the parking lot is managed properly, the character of the neighborhood shouldn't change and should be an acceptable use. So your application is approved.
Thank you, guys.
Look,
Thank you for joining us.
Thank you all.
You're welcome. All right, our next application is BZA 21-05. Matt Long requesting an area variance from Planning and Zoning Code Section 1115.04A to allow a smaller lot size and width than permitted. Section 1125.03B5 to allow parking within the required side setback. And section 1129.06A4 to allow a lot with an average depth more than 2.5 times its average width on the east side of Venture Boulevard. This is in an I-2 general industrial zoning district. I see Mr. Long is with us.
Good evening. I'm happy to take the stage. My name is Matthew Long. My business address is 225 North Market Street in Worcester, and I affirm to tell the truth.
Thank you, Mr. Long. You may proceed.
Yeah, so for many of you that have been on the board for a couple of years, this will look really familiar because it is. The board actually approved a previous split of this property back in 2019. I know that feels like forever ago, and I know that feeling. And in this instance, there have been some minor changes made to the location of the lot that has necessitated us to come back to the Board of Zoning Appeals to obtain new approval for the lot split. Just a reminder of the background here. This is kind of the leftover piece of land from a lot of the surrounding industrial development. It's actually a nice wooded lot, and the purpose of the subdivision is to be able to develop this and to be able to seamlessly separate out future ownership, if necessary, of the buildings, while also preserving the woods and the integrity of the site, and dealing with some very specific site planning issues, the location of a couple significant easements that run through the property, and kind of the just general odd configuration of the lot, with one side being dramatically larger, or being larger than the other side that abuts the right of way. So we've went through the criteria in the application. I'm obviously happy to go into depth on any questions that the board may have regarding our answers.
Any questions from members of the board? Matt, can you just give us a quick synopsis of what changed from the prior approval?
Yeah, I think the easiest way to say it are the lots flipped. So lot A on top used to be the larger of the lots, and lot B on the bottom was the smaller of the two lots, and the property line was down closer to the curve at Venture Boulevard. As they got further into the site planning and looking at some other conditions, it made a lot more sense for the development from a practical standpoint to flip those and tuck in the smaller lot up top, given you can kind of see some of the topographic features that are present up in that corner. There's a nice opportunity to put the one building in that small building envelope, and then use the larger lot for the larger improvements.
Okay, that helps. Thank you. Other questions from members of the board?
And I would say that not at all straight blue line is about where the original Wadsworth was.
Thank you, Andrew. All right, hearing no questions from members of the board. Andrew, let's open it up to public hearing. Andrew, are we getting anything?
Doesn't look like we're getting any comments again.
Andrew, did I hear you say no comment?
Correct. There have been no comments on YouTube.
Okay. All right, then let's close the public hearing. Any further questions from a member of the board? Okay, hearing no questions, and I think one of us has an unstable connection, maybe me. I'll entertain a motion.
I'll make a motion that we vote to approve the request.
Thank you,
Second.
Greg.
Second the motion.
Okay, thank you, Ken. All right, voting in the affirmative on BZA 21-05. Greg?
My vote, yes. This is a very small change from what was previously approved by the BZA, and I don't think it changes the nature of what is going to eventually be developed there. So I vote yes.
Okay, thank you, Greg. Ken?
I also vote yes. The previous approval noted all of the difficulties in developing this site because of easements and such, and this is just a little tweaking to the same situation is there, same justification for the variance.
Thank you, Ken. Ben?
I will also vote in the affirmative for the reasons already stated. And I mean, it's an industrial zone, so I mean, he's just adding improvements and other opportunities. So I think it makes sense.
Thank you, Ben. Doug?
I'm going to vote yes. And I think it's based on what Ken said. He's just tweaking some of this, and it is an industrial area, so I vote yes.
Okay, thank you, Doug. Mark?
I'm also going to vote yes for many of the same reasons stated by my colleagues, and primarily letter A of the special conditions of the land and the uniqueness of it makes this a reasonable use for it. So I'm going to vote yes.
Okay, thank you, Mark. And I too will vote yes for all of the reasons cited by my colleagues. It's a peculiar situation. It's already been through the review process once. It seems to make sense and a good fit for the area. So, Mr. Long, your application is approved for a second time.
Thank you very much. Everyone have a nice evening.
Thank you. You too. All right. Next up is BZA 21-06. Jacob Holderman requesting an area variance from Planning and Zoning Code Section 111301E 13D to allow more of a site to be utilized for outdoor storage than permitted on the north side of Daisy Way and west of North Gyers Chapel Road in an I-2 General Industrial Zoning District. And I think I saw Mr. Holderman on again.
Yep, I'm here.
2 months in a row for you.
Love spending time with you guys.
All right. If you state your name and address and affirmation, and then you may proceed.
Sounds good. Jacob Holdeman, business address is 8801 River Crossing Boulevard, Indianapolis, Indiana, and I affirm to tell the truth.
Thank you.
Yeah, so I wanted to say I appreciate you guys allowing us to come back on. I think we had a really good discussion at the last variance meeting, and you guys, provide a lot of great points. And ultimately, we determined that that prior site didn't really fit for, what we were looking to do there. And so, I'll rehash some of the background on the project just for the record. We're looking to build a warehouse distribution center around 200,000 square feet. And we're requesting a variance to build a larger outdoor parking area for trailers that basically is going to be above what the zoning code has, but you know, as we summarized previously, and I, you know, obviously added some color in our packet that I sent along that I hope everyone was able to review. It's a critical piece to what we're seeing across the country right now for these distribution centers. And, you know, we believe that this is a great site, you know, that we would be effectively partnering with the city on, given it's the innovation site. And I think it fits into the character of the neighborhood much better than our prior site, and ultimately it doesn't alter it, just given that there will be future industrial type uses neighboring as well as existing right now in that Daisy Way area. So, you know, I open up the questions of the board. I'm happy to discuss anything and to talk through this.
Questions from members of the board?
Nothing has changed from your previous plan as far as the number of tractors and the amount of traffic coming in and out?
That's correct. We, the only major change that we had done here is we actually mirrored the building over. So, you know, you're seeing the building on the eastern side of the property now, and then the storage area or the trailer parking area on the western side. Outside of that, though, you know, all the specs and everything that you guys were able to review previously have been maintained.
Has the zoning actually changed? It's pending on the drawing.
Yeah, Andrew, you may be better suited to weigh in on that.
Yes, the previous meeting in the planning commission, they recommended approval of the rezoning. Then when the council at a recent meeting, unfortunately, we had a notification error. It was basically just a wrong street address. So a neighbor did not get a notice. So we've had to kind of restart that process. It's going to be heard by the planning commission for a second time this evening, and then should go back to council on the 5th. So that's still pending that rezoning application. The planning commission is also hearing a site plan for this, and it'll be contingent on the zoning change.
Okay, so presumably if we grant the variances, those would be contingent on the zoning change as well?
Correct, yes.
Yep, that's our understanding as well.
Is it anticipated that either side of this pending zoning change would also be I-2 in the future, or is it already? As I see I-1 down, you know, in one corner, but not the I-2 on either side of this. So, I mean, are we looking at an I-2 area that extends kind of east-west there?
Correct. Everything north of Daisy Way is pending
Yes.
the I-2 designation. To the southeast, that's the Daisy facility. It is zoned I-2. And then the
Yes.
southwest is actually kind of the parcel to the right of where it says I-1. That's also pending a rezoning to I-2.
Oh, okay, okay.
And then west of that would stay I-1 on the west side of future Daisy Way.
Okay, I was just looking to see that the pattern is consistent with the I-1 as a sort of a buffer to the I-2 then. Okay.
We're clearly seeing a lot of activity in this area.
Yes.
Yeah, and then, yeah, no kidding. And then Andrew, where Daisy Way is penciled in on the I-1 in that diagram that you've got up, that's going to be the extension to connect it around to the road that goes in past Scheffler.
Old airport,
Yeah.
yeah. Okay,
So essentially there'll be a traffic loop for all of the businesses around that, that roadway.
does the applicant expect most of the truck traffic from their property to go east on Daisy Way directly toward 585?
I don't think we've fully established which direction would be
Okay.
utilized the most. I think it'd be, you know, that's something we'd obviously discuss if there was a preference from the city. Just given, I know there's some congestion down there for some of those businesses off of Old Airport.
Yeah.
Yeah,
And I've talked with Roger from the city as well, about traffic and all of that stuff. So we've had some discussions around that.
Yeah, I mean, the good news compared to your prior application is that Daisy Way is a new street. Old Airport's pretty well improved, and presumably it
Yeah.
would be connected properly and be a whole lot better than Geyers Chapel Road.
Also, it
Yeah.
has a light to get onto the 585.
yes, yes.
Yeah, we
Yeah.
feel that this location is much more, more willing to accept a variance, with what we're requesting with the neighboring properties and the facilities and, kind of what's planned, even to the west of our potential property and to the east. So feels like a much better fit than what we were discussing last month.
Andrew, is the Worcester Brush Warehouse on that I-1 area to the sort of southwest, or which parcel are they using?
We haven't got a submission from them yet, but it will be
Oh, really?
in the
Oh, okay.
I-2 area to the north of Daisy Way.
Okay.
Okay, other questions from members of the board? All right, hearing none. Andrew, let's go ahead and open this up for public hearing, please. Anything online yet, Andrew?
I've not received any comments.
All right, let's give it another few moments just in case.
And it doesn't look like we're getting anything for the public hearing there.
All right, then I will declare the public hearing closed. Any further questions from members of the board? All right, hearing none, I'll entertain a motion.
I move to approve.
Thank you, Mark. Is there a second?
I'll second.
Thank you, Greg. All right, voting in the affirmative on BZA 21-06. Greg,
I vote to approve the plan. I think it's a very good spot for this business, and we're glad to see it growing in Worcester. And seems very appropriate for the location of the traffic, and I vote for to approve it.
thank you, Greg. Mark,
I will also vote to approve this variance contingent on the rezoning to be heard later at the planning commission meeting. I think that this is a great spot for this facility. It matches the characteristics of the neighborhood. And I'd also just like to commend the applicant for finding a location that kind of answers any questions and concerns that not only the board had, but the public had regarding the previous location they applied for.
Okay, thank you, Mark. Ben?
I vote to approve as well. The location, the surrounding area, as Mark mentioned, makes sense. I think point H also comes into play here because they are going to fence in the area, block off as much as they can, and try to observe the intent of the zoning. So I think it just makes sense. So I approve.
Thank you, Ben. Ken?
I'm voting yes. I think this location is so far superior to the other one that it behooves us to congratulate them on being sensitive to neighborhood considerations.
Thank you, Ken. Doug?
Yes, I agree with Ken. This is a vast improvement over the other property. And also with Mark, I think this is an excellent place for it. Out there, there's nothing really around it that they could interfere with. And I just think this is very appropriate for Worcester. And I'm glad that they're expanding and staying in Worcester. So I vote yes.
Thank you, Doug. I too will vote yes for all of the reasons cited by my colleagues. I too applaud you, Mr. Holderman, and your colleagues for responding very positively to the discussion last month. This really is clearly a much better fit, and I'm glad that the stars aligned. I think that we really didn't want to turn you down in terms of not supporting the community, but it just wasn't a good fit. So this solves the problem. So congratulations on a good solution. So your application is approved.
Awesome. I appreciate it. I'm glad we were able to figure it out, and hopefully we'll continue forward on everything.
We hope so.
Great.
Is there anything further to come before the board? Andrew, anything?
I don't have anything else. Just like to thank the board for being flexible in our schedule a little bit. Got a lot of business to go through with the planning commission, so I'm glad we're able to adjust the meetings.
Okay, you're welcome, and thank you, members of the board, for accommodating as well. So I'll entertain a motion for adjournment.
So
Motion to
moved.
adjourn.
Okay, multiple movers and seconds. All in favor signify by saying aye.
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 All opposed say no. All right, we are adjourned. Thank you all. See you next
Thanks,
month.
everyone.
Good night.
Thank you.